This covers notes 19.2. This day is more simplifying radical expressions. So we're just doing the same things we did yesterday. Identify the pattern when taking the square root of terms. After, simplify the square root below. So remember, when we take the square root of terms or letters, if we have an even exponent, we divide by 2 and they're all outside. When we have an odd, we also divide by 2 because we're always looking to put things in groups of 2. And then the number goes outside, and 0.5 means there's 1 left on the inside. So to simplify this square root that I see, A and C are both even numbers, so that means they're all going to go outside. B and D are all odd numbers, so there will be some left on the inside. So all of these we divide. So A, we have 2 on the outside. B, I have 2 on the outside. 0.5 means 1 left on the inside. C's, I have 3 on the outside. And D's, I have 3 on the outside and 1 left on the inside. So that's what that problem is going to simplify to. So again, today we're just simplifying, so we're going to take it up just a little bit faster. Remember, we always want to check to see if it works out nicely, and it does not. 648 is a pretty big number, so I'm going to try some big numbers. Oh, I got lucky. So 8 and 81, you could totally use different numbers. Make sure if you're using things like 2s or 3s that you're really watching all of your numbers because you're going to end up with a lot of them. 8 is 2 times 4, and 4 is 2 times 2. 81 is 9 times 9. So remember, I'm looking for pairs. So even though I could continue taking 9 and breaking it down to 3s, that would be a waste of my time. You're not wrong if you do it. It's just going to take you longer, and you're going to end up with more numbers. Remember, you can always do a quick check. Make sure all of the numbers under the square root gets you back to this number. If your number's too small, it means you've lost numbers. If it's too big, somehow you've used too many. Also, remember, we only use the numbers at the tail ends. So if you checked your assignment today and you got them wrong, you might be trying to use too many numbers. We don't use 4, 8, or 81 because they're wrapped up in these other numbers. In order to get out of this square root, you need a pair, a group of 2. Not a group of the number 2s, but like a group of 2 numbers that are the same. And then if you don't have a friend, you have to stay on the inside. So outside, 2 times 9 is 18, and then we have that square root of 2. So to do a quick check, here was my original. And here's what I simplified, same decimals. Number 2, check your square roots first. Doesn't work, so we got to break this down. Let's see, maybe a 4. Oh, okay, that's not that bad. Let's see if 128 is divisible by 4. Oh, yes, it is. So look, I have a pair of 4s, so I don't need to continue breaking those down. 32 is going to be 4 times 8. 8 is 4 times 2. So again, if you find groups of 2, you can stop breaking those numbers down. Now, not to be confused, I know when we did this in the fall, some of you heard if you find a group of 2s, you can stop. That doesn't mean you don't need to keep breaking 32 down. It means you do not need to keep breaking those numbers down any further. So when I do my quick check, 2 and then 4 4s gets me back to 512. So I can take out a 4 and a 4, and there will be a 2 left. So that would give me 16 square root 2. Let me double check that real quick. Perfect. And then my letters, A to the 2 divided by 2 gives me 1. B to the 3 divided by 2 gives me 1.5. So my full answer together will be 16. I have an A and a B that are both coming out. That's what those ones mean, here and here. And then I have a 2 staying in the square root and a B staying in the square root because it's odd, and that's what that 0.5 means. Number 3, the square root of 81 is 9. So let me simplify this part first, and then we'll put it together with what's outside. With my A's, 6 broken up into groups of 2, I can make 3 full groups. With my B's, I can make 4. So now let's combine with what was in front. We had AB, and then we're going to end up with 9A3B4 from the square root. So then when I put them all together, I have 9. A's, I have 3 and an additional, so 4 total. B's, I have 4 and an additional, so 5 total. And those come from your rules of exponents. Number 4, the square root of 12 does not work nicely. So 12 is 2 times 6. 6 is 2 times 3. So we had this 2 in front, and then we have 2, 2, and 3. Remember to always check those. It doesn't take much time, but you can save yourself a lot of time finding the right answers. And then I have a group of 2's that are going to go out and join the 2 that was already outside for a total of 4 square roots of 3. So 2 square roots of 10 compared with 4 square roots of 3, same decimals. A's, I have 7. When I divide by 2, I get 3.5. B's, I have 11. When I divide, I get 5.5. So my answer altogether, I have the number 4, I have 3 A's and 5 B's. And then in my square root, I have the number 3 and an A and a B. Remember, the 0.5 means leave one of them inside. The big numbers are what are going on the outside. So the 3 and the 5 are how many are going out. Because these are both odd, we will leave some under the square root. 2 more problems for you. So with number 5, the square root of 72 doesn't work nicely. Oop, hello. 72 is 8 times 9. 8 is 2 times 4, and 4 is 2 times 2, where 9 is 3 and 3. So we had a negative 5. We're taking out 3 2's and 2 3's. Do your quick check. Perfect. So group of 2, group of 2. And then the 2 that will stay inside. So that simplifies to negative 30 square roots of 2. And I do my quick check. Perfect. Exponents, I have x and then x to the 5. Well, let me just do one part at a time. So x to the 5 divided by 2. 2 are coming out, 1 staying in. Y to the 4, 2 are coming out. Then I already had an x and a y on the outside. So that would be a total of 3.5 and a total of 3. Remember our exponent rules, you just add. So 2.5 plus 1 is 3.5. 2 and the 1 is 3. And those come from what's already out here. So outside I have negative 30, 3 x's and 3 y's. On the inside I have a 2 and an x. Remember, if you take this square root originally and it does not work nicely, you should have a number left on the inside. And if you end up with a 0.5 with your exponents, you should have a number left on the outside. Number 6, I check my square root and look, it works nicely. So 3 square root 121 simplifies to 33. So now let's just look at our exponents. M's, we have 4. They break up into 2 groups of 2 nicely. N's, we have 5, which breaks up into 2 groups nicely. And then P's, we have 7, which breaks up into 3 groups. Sorry, the N's do not work nicely. I apologize. And then we already had an M and an N squared. So M's, I have 2, and there's 1 remaining, so there will be 3 total. N's, I had 2.5, and I'm adding 2, so there will be 4.5 total. So let's put it all together. Numbers, they worked nicely, so they're all outside of the square root. Ims I have 3, ins I have 4, p's I have 3, and then I have 0.5s in ins and p's, so those are left under the square root.